What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is Skylar and Pedro Matters. Now check it out, this deck tech we got in a little cheese crater. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what this is. Now I don't remember if she's in here, but I do have the Planeswalker in my binder, and I don't remember if I put her in there. So, but this commander we have right here, look at that. We got Hinata, Dawn Crown, Flying, Trample, costs 1 less. The cast for each target. Spells your opponent cast costs 1 more to cast for each target. So basically, the gist of it is we're going to be targeting a lot of stuff, making spells a lot cheaper than what it is, and cheating out spells is amazing. And this is just an artwork from Kamigawa Dynasty, Hinata Dawn Crown. Nice little artwork. I don't have the full art version of this, but I like this full art card, so I just kind of throw it in front of it, and then that's kind of my commander. And if they ask me what it does, I kind of just slide it on up and just show them what it is. But let's get right into it. We'll put this over to the side over here, and we're going to get right into this deck tech. Now, this is a blue, red, white deck. This is my deck I built myself. This is no pre-con deck upgraded. This is a card that came out of a set that I actually built around, that I thought would be fun to build around. So we're just going to start off. Put that over there as well. We're just going to start off with a basic land. Borrows, add red or white, return a land from your hand. And we're going to head to Strixhaven. We got Mavinda, Student's Advocate. Now, flying, 0 colorless. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature, which 99% of our spells target creatures. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more colorless to cast, so we ain't really got to worry about that. And if that spell will be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Activate only once each turn. You may play this, still pay the spell's cost. Time rollings for them spells still apply. So basically, we can play this each turn. Opponent's turn, our turn, whatever. Be able to cast it. 0 colorless. If it targets. And it's kind of crazy. So, getting into the next card. Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Legendary sorcery. Jaya's Immolating Inferno deals X damage to each of up to 3 targets. So we're going to target 3 things already. So right off the bat, for a red, it's going to have 3 colorless because we have to target 3 things. And basically any mana we pay after that will just be more. So right off the bat, no matter what, we get at least 3 damage. And that's kind of nice. So take out some things that are right in our way. Nice little basics cycling. Now here we go. Here's a Planeswalker here. Sahili Sublime Artificer. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. And mostly because we're casting so many spells, this is a spell slinging deck. I do have another one that I will show you guys in the next video. But this is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. And we got a lot of spells we're going to cast. This artifact right here, Elementus Palette. Whenever you cast a spell with X, which a lot of our cards in the deck have X, put 2 charge counters on it, add 1 mana of any color, or add a colorless for each charge counter on it. Spend this mana only on costs that contain X. So basically, a lot of our cards have X, and this is just going to allow us to pay more and do more with our X things. Step through, return 2 target creatures to their owner's hand. So this costs 3 colorless and a blue, but with our commander out, it only costs 1 colorless and a blue to return 2 target creatures to their owner's hand. Wizard cycling, discard, search your library for a wizard card, put it into your hand. So each one is going to be useful to us. And yeah, Young Pyromancer, Pretty sure you guys know what this little baby does. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 red elemental creature token onto the battlefield. Now, we're getting into the little wizard I said you can probably search for. Probably got a couple other ones in here. But each instant and sorcery spell you cast, one colorless, less to cast for each creature it targets. So, battlefield, Dormitage. Don't know how to actually say that. But each thing that we targets costs one less to cast. So this is another thing other than our commander that does that effect. And whenever you cast a spell that targets battlefield Dormitage, it gains hexproof until the end of turn. So we can also target our own creatures with some things we have, and that'll benefit. Now this is return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to the owner's hand. Draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. So this is protection. Let's say somebody tries to destroy something we don't really want destroyed and we kind of want to have it for next turn. We're going to return it to our hand. And if we at least return 3, then it should be just 1 blue and draw a card for each card returned this way. So card draw, protection, nice. Opening to the Wander, 2 blue, X. There's an X spell. We got a lot of X spells, but X target creatures can't be blocked this turn. Until the end of turn, those creatures gain whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So imagine for 2 blue and whatever we target, basically they just swing in for free and we get free cards out of them. So for 2 blue, we can draw as much as your imagination can do. Now, Hallowed Fountain. Got a couple shock lands. That's a nice little shock land right there. Launch in the fleet. Costs 1 more to cast for each target beyond the first, but per our commander, it costs 1 less, so it counteracts each other. So basically for 1 white until the end of turn, any number of target creatures each gain whenever this creature attacks, put a 1/1 white soldier creature token onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. So say we have 5 creatures out and we choose 1. Choose the 1 and then the other 4. It would cost 4 if we didn't have our commander out, but because if our commander is out, which is what we're going to be going for, we would like to do it for free. Free. Well, not really free, but 1 white, basically free. And of course this right here, return 6 target non-land permanents to their owner's hand, Aether Gale. So you're already targeting 6, 3 colorless. It's only going to cost us 2 blue. 2 blue to return 6 creatures. Kind of crazy. Opal Palace. Icy Blast. Really like this card. One of my favorite cards. And just tap X. Target creatures. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, those creatures does not untap during its controller untap step. So that means if our commander is out, because our commander is a 4/4, it will not untap during the next untap phase. And that is nice. Real nice. Now this card right here, Mass Manipulation, for 4 blue and XX. So basically when it's 2 X's, you have to pay 2 to pay for 1. But as our X target creatures and our planeswalkers, we get to gain control of them. So let's say an opponent has 4, we're going to target the 4, and that's going to pay 2. That's going to pay 4 colorless for us, which is going to equal 2. So all we have to do is pay the rest if we want to gain control of something, or basically just gain control of those 2. Now this does have a little math in it. So if you don't like thinking too much when you're playing Magic and you just kind of want to swing in like my Angel deck where it's just attack, and just overpower, basically. That's what that deck does, but this one's a little bit more thinking and math doing. But I like playing all types. But this right here, reconstruct history, return up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target enchantment. So right up there, this is just a red and a white, 1 target instant card, and 1 target sorcery card, and 1 target planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. Exile it. So we get to return all those for a red and a white. Not too bad, Strixhaven. Now, counter target spell, 2 blue. Basically turns into a negate. And we got a nice Rigorin Triome. Pulled this out of a pack. Nice Triome there, full art. Looks real nice. Gonna go ahead and file that to the side. Thriving Isle. A negate, colorless, and a blue. So counter target non-creature spell, colorless, turns into 1 blue. A lot of things be getting cheaper with our commander as long as it's out, but you have to protect the commander once it's out because people will be going for it because of all the stuff it'll make cheap. But exile target artifact or enchantment. If you cast a spell during your main phase, you may exile up to 1 other target artifact enchantment. So all of them targets makes this 2 white. Cheap, cheap, cheap. And basically we're gonna just try and get our draw engine in. Nice little Narset doing her thing in there. Love that artwork. Artwork's amazing. Sunbird's Invocation. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library. Where X is that spell is converted mana cost, you may cast cards revealed this way with mana cost X or less without paying this mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. So basically, if we're slinging and slicking, we're gonna sling and basically be able to play something for free. That's the plan, at least. Sometimes the plan don't go the way it is. Good old Arcane Signet, you guys know what that does. Now this one, this I believe came from another commander deck, pre-con deck, I don't know. Pretty sure it was our own pre-con deck, but we threw her in here because she's blue and a red, 2 colors. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. If that spell mana value is 5 or greater, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental. If it's 10 or greater, it deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen at random. So we can possibly do that 10 damage and get that other effect off. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Generous gift. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. Now, all these spells in this deck are pretty much cheap. Except for the Triome and a couple other things you see. But a lot of spells in here people don't play for some reason. And I know why, because it's mana cost and blah, blah, blah. But in this deck, it makes it nice. That's why I liked it. Something different. So, we just destroy target permanent and they get a little elephant. But we ain't worried about that little elephant because whatever we destroyed was probably worse. And this is a good old angel. Love this angel. Red, white, white. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature you control, which all our spells basically do that, exile that card instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. If you do, return it to your hand at the beginning of your next end step. So basically, let's say we did Icy Blast and we targeted all of our opponents and tapped them. If we at least tapped one of our creatures as well, Icy Blast will come back to the hand at the beginning of the next end step. So if there are cards in our deck, which there is, that we can target our own creatures, this will allow us to get that spell back and recycle it and recycle it and recycle it. And that's always nice. The more you can use one thing, especially with the cheap costs we be having, you find the villain's lair. Choose one, counter target spell, makes this into a blue-blue. Or the second one is draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. So whichever we prefer, whatever scheme we're in, whatever we're doing. Now this card is one of my favorite out of this deck, Body of Knowledge. Really like this card. Really like this card. But Body of Knowledge, power, and toughness are each equal to the card number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum size. When it is dealt damage, you draw that many cards. So if somebody swings at you and you have a 5/5 and it hits you with a 4 and you block and it deals 4 damage to this guy, you draw 4 cards. And a lot of people sleep on that because it definitely draws me cards. Got white, blue, back to back. But this right here, love these cards right here. Adds a plains on the back side of it. Sagery Shelter, 1 colorless and a white, but target creature you control. So for 1 white, gains protection of color from your choice, protecting our commander, of course. Or if we don't need to protect our commander or anybody, we just tap it for a land, but most likely we're going to save it for the protection. Now this card right here has 2. I'm going to turn it sideways, bring it a little closer. Said and done. So basically said is a sorcery, but return target instant or sorcery card from your hand to your graveyard. And done is tap up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during the untap phase. So the left one turns into 1 colorless and a blue, and the right one turns into 1 colorless and a blue. So basically 2 for 1 and a card. That's amazing in this deck. 1 card equals 2 spells. Don't know which we're gonna do, but it's kind of crazy. This deck gets kind of crazy. Disorder in the court, white, blue, X, exile X target creatures, then investigate X times. Return exile cards to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control at the beginning of the next unstep. And basically to investigate, create a colorless clue artifact token with 2 colorless, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. So basically we're gonna get a bunch of investigate tokens, or not investigate token, clue tokens, and gonna be able to sacrifice them if we need to, or do any shenanigans that we need to. Another way to add land in this deck, because we are slinging so many spells that we shortened the land base just a bit, but we replaced it with these lands that tap or on the backside have lands. But this one, counter target spell, unless its controller pays 1, but that only costs 1 blue for us. So I know you guys are thinking this ain't the best counter spell, this ain't anything, but it adds blue and is a possible thing. And if you use this at the right time, most likely they don't have a 1, because a lot of people tap out sometimes and just pay everything they have for a big spell, and then that big spell ends up getting rejected because they can't pay 1 and they feel silly. But this is a bad card in the game, I guess you can say. Crush Contraband, because it's 3 colorless and a white, but choose 1 or both and it targets both, so it turns into 1 colorless and a white. That's good for us. Exile target artifact and exile enchantment. So we're gonna hit 2 of them and make it cheaper. Now we got Ondi Inversion, destroy all non-land permanents, add a white on the backside. Another way to add white. Now there is better ways to destroy stuff in white, of course, but like I said, we replace spells with land, so now we have 3 spells that equal 3 land, and that allowed us to take out 3 land because we have the backside just in case. So if we really need to, we can play it on the backside. Radiant Scroll Wielder, 2 colorless, a red and a white. Instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. If a spell cast this way, put it into your graveyard, exile instead. Basically, that's what you do. Another shock land, shiny land. Jace's Sanction, 3 colorless and a white. Instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less. So basically making stuff cheaper, and whenever you cast an instant and sorcery spell, makes it 1 less. Good old Archmage Emeritus, if I even said that right, but whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, draw a card. Now this is good old Rewind. Count a target spell and tap 4 lands. So 1 colorless and a blue, we get to untap 4 lands and counter a spell. So basically, we did it for free. Now this card right here, add a colorless, target non-land permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. This is just a tap for a land, and we can make something a artifact in case we want to destroy it. Shatter Skull Smashing, add another land on the back, mountain, red, X, deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures, so 2 colorless. Ishia of the Infinite, you already know, look at the top card of your library, play cards from the top of your library, add 1 mana of any color. Curse of the Swine, exile target X target creatures. They get 2/2 green boars, so exiling. So if they have a Blightsteel Colossus, like what I just went through the other time at the card shop where I couldn't get through it or do anything about it, this exile it instead of destroying it. So we get around that, guys. Getting on to the next part of this. Sublime Epiphany. This is a real nice card. Choose 1 or more, counter, target. So 3 targets, 1 colorless and a blue. We get to choose all of this. That is crazy. Real nice card in this deck. Real nice. Just sit there and read it, pause it. You guys will see. I ain't going to get too deep into it because we're getting a little bit into this, but as additional cost to cast the spell, discard X cards, target player draws X cards, target one colorless and a blue, and deals X damage to up to one target creature or player. So 2 colorless, this is just going to cost a blue-red. Now, Steam Vents. Last shock we have. Last shock we have. Go ahead, put that to the side. Saw it coming. Bet you guys did. Counter target spell, so 2 blue, or foretell. 1 colorless and a blue. Barrow's Expertise, 3 colorless and a blue, return up to 3 artifacts. So 2 blue creatures to their hand. You may cast a card with mana cost 4 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So that is crazy. That is crazy. So we get to play something for free for 2 blue and return up to 3 things. Look at that. I really like this card as well. Release the Gremlins. Hey, Kodak Black. Hey, Gremlin. Destroy X target artifacts. Create X 2/2 red gremlin creature tokens. Mind Stone. Good old tap for a colorless. Another land. Oh, look at this. Got the Locust God. Got the God of the Loke. But flying, whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red instant creature token with flying. 2 colors, red, blue. Draw a card, then discard a card. When it dies, return it to the owner's hand at the beginning of the next sunset. So got a god in there, and this guy creates tokens as well. Good old Memory Mystic. Now this is an older card, but target player draws 2 cards. Flashback, you get the 1 colorless and a blue, pay 3 life. But target player makes this a 2 colorless and a blue to draw 2 cards. But that flashback allows us to pay it for 1 blue and pay 3 life. So we get to draw cards multiple times. Pretty nice. Counter target non-creature spell, untap up to 3 lands. So for 1 colorless and a blue, we get to untap 3 lands. Another way to create tokens, the Sky Summoner. Evolving Wilds. Now this is also one of my favorite cards in here because I love angels, and that artwork right there is crazy. Aurelius Fury. Deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and their players. So there are 3 other players. You can even choose yourself if you wanted to, but don't do that. But choose the other 3 players. Tap each creature dealt damage this way. Players dealt damage this way can't cast non-creature spells this turn. So somebody's about to do something. You know a lot of shenanigans about to happen. Go ahead and hit them with that Aurelius Fury. Make sure they don't know what they're getting into. Prismatic Lens, another way to mana ramp. Another way to mana fix. But good old Jesky's Ascendancy. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 and tap those creatures. That's kind of nice. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. Also kind of nice, but you have to discard it. Not too nice, but we are able to flash back stuff. So as long as you are smart with what you're discarding, you should be all right. But choose any target, then choose another target for each time this spell was kicked. So red, white, get 2 right off the bat. Well, ends up being 2 red. Choose any target, that's 1. Then choose another target for each time this spell was kicked. So each target you pick makes it less, and basically just makes it 2 red. Deals X damage to each of them. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. I know it's confusing. I don't know if you guys don't understand what I'm saying, but bringing it back to Strixhaven, one of my favorite spells from there, especially the artwork, looks amazing. Magma Opus deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Any number of targets. So we can choose 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20, whatever we want. But as long as we choose 6, this is just a blue and a red with our commander out. And you tap 2 target permanents, create a 4/4 blue, red, and elemental creature token, draw 2 cards, and it's kind of crazy. We're never going to discard this card. We don't care about that treasure token. We're keeping it for that mana, for that spells thing. But another Strixhaven card. Semester's End, exile any number of target creatures and planeswalkers you control. The beginning of the next end step, return it to the battlefield under its own controls. For each of them to enter, put a +1/+1 counter on it if it was an additional loyalty counter on it if it was a planeswalker. So protection, protection, protection. Told you got to protect your commander, so you got to be ready. Keep land open. Ends up being pretty much cheap. Be smart. For each up to X target creatures, create a red aura enchantment. When this enchanted creature dies, it deals 1 damage. So, and you create a treasure token. So, tap. Choose every single creature on the field that your opponent has, and bam, there's all those treasure tokens. But this card is pretty nice. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a number of ember counters on it. Then if it has 7 or more, transform it, which we're going to flip it on his backside. Kind of show you this dragon, which is kind of nice. I flipped it a couple times before in a game, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it deals 2 damage to any target. And that's kind of nasty because as much as we're playing for cheap, we're going to be playing a lot of stuff. So if we can flip that, deal 2 damage as we're playing stuff, the opponents will slowly dwindle, slowly go down, and we'll slowly win. Good old Soul Ring. And got some land. Now this right here is my favorite card out of this deck. This is a Secret Lair edition. Impact Tremors. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent. So, creature, doesn't matter if it's a token, it just says creature. So, that's good, but it deals 1 damage to each opponent. And this is just a nice enchantment that just slowly deals damage as we're doing what we're doing. But love that artwork. Reminds me of Bam Bam from Fred Flintstones. You know, this guy is nice. I just took him out of my gold deck, but this guy gives us indestructible. It's dealt damage, deals that much damage to target opponent, and for 2 colors and a red white, fights another target creature. Now, it's pretty nice. Protecting us, swinging in, dealing damage to our opponent. This is from the Kamigawa set. Real nice artwork. Look at that blue dragon. Get you guys in there. March of Swirling Mist. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may exile any number of blue cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. But we don't have to do that because up to X target creatures phase out. Another way to protect our own creatures. For basically 1 blue, we're protecting our commander, protecting anything else we have, and we'll be able to save stuff. That's the most important. Sorry about that phone call, guys. Let's get back into this. God Eternal Kefnet. Another nice card in here, but basically he reveals the first card you draw each turn. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, copy that card unless you copy that card, and you may cast a copy, and that copy costs 2 less to cast. So we're gonna get 2 spells off 1, and the second one costs 2 less. So that's kind of crazy. And when it dies, you put it in, or is put into the exile from the battlefield, you may put it into his owner's library, 3rd from the top. So either way, we're going to get him back, and he kind of never goes away. This is also a real nice card in this deck, Metallurgic Summonings, but basically whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create an XX colorless construct. So you know we're going to be casting a lot of instants and sorcery spells, but that X is that mana value, and we're going to be paying a lot sometimes. Not really, but because of the targets. Sorry, guys. Another phone call. Hanging up. Let me just go ahead and make it silent so that don't happen again. Let's get back into it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, yeah, buddy. Now this is a nice little island. Gutter Snipe, you already know. Typical slinging deck creature. Deals 2 damage to each creature. And our last card, Jubilant Sky Bonder. Creatures you control with flying have spells your opponent casts that target this creature costs 2 more to cast. So basically, our commander, I don't know if you guys knew, but flying, trample, Kieran Spirit, real nice, real fun deck to play. A lot of spell slinging, a lot of spell slinging in here, but a lot of cards I like from this deck, and Strixhaven really is in here, so pretty cool deck, guys. But that's it right there. If you guys enjoyed this deck tech, please like, subscribe. Till next time, peace out, everybody. And she wasn't in there, but I do have the card.